Alright, in this video I will show you how to uninstall the 44-inch front blade from a John Deere riding mower. I have a model X380, but as you can see from the manual, this blade is compatible with a bunch of different mowers. I have another video showing you how to install it, and also a couple videos on installing and uninstalling the mower deck. You can find those linked in the description of this video. One thing I like to do in these videos that I find useful if you are doing this for the first time is to show the instructions in the manual first. Sometimes it is hard to see what's going on in these black and white pictures, so I'll show what it says in the manual and then you'll see the real thing in color. So going through the steps here, blah blah, park, make sure it's safe and parking brakes on, remove the weights. Step 3 is where you're actually going to first start doing anything here. Pull the lift pedal back by hand to lower attachment to the lower or down position. Pull lock lever up to lock blade in lowered position. So right now, you can see I have this raised up off the ground, and I am going to push down to unlock it. And as I release, that is going to lower down. You're resting on the ground. Pull that again to lock it in the lowered position. Next up, we've got remove the lift link. So that is this bar here that is connecting the mechanism that raises and lowers the blade up in the front to this part back here. So there's a couple different things to remove there. So you've got remove the spring locking pin securing the link boss onto the rear weldment. So that is A in the diagram here. And that is this pin here. So that one is not that hard to remove. Should be able to just pull it out by hand, and then this will pop out here. The other one, so then disengage the lift link from the rear weldment. That's what I just did there by popping this out. And then remove the self-locking cotter pin C, securing the lift links to the lift frame. So that is C here. And if you watched my installation video, you will remember that I hate this one. It is the most difficult one to remove and the biggest pain in this whole process for me. So that pin is on the inside here. Can I get the best view I can with the camera and try and get this to focus? There you go. So it is almost impossible to get your fingers in there to actually pull that pin out. And that is, again, securing this silver bar to this black part here. So I don't know why they designed that so that pin is on the inside instead of on the outside here, where it would be so much easier to remove. I always wind up having to get a pair, again, if I can try and get this to focus, a pair of needle nose pliers to kind of reach in there and finagle this until I can eventually pull it out. Or maybe I can't do this since I'm filming with one hand now, but use one hand to kind of push and pry from the top and the other hand to pull from the bottom. But again, this part is the biggest pain. I'm going to have to put the camera down and do this with both hands, so I'm not going to be able to film it. And I've done this before where I used needle nose pliers and wound up bending and deforming the pin so much that I just needed to buy another one because I totally bent it out of shape. But once you get that guy out of there, then you'll be able to remove the entire lift link. So there we go, I got the lift link out. Make sure you don't lose these pins. You're going to need them again next year. Set that whole thing aside. We are going to go next to step 6, remove the lift frame. So that is this big black part in the front that is connected to and lifting the blade. Remove the clip securing the front draft pin. Remove the front draft pin and set the lift frame aside. So if we go here, I'm on the wrong side of the tractor right now, but this is the front draft pin, that big pin going across through here into the other side. That's what allows the whole thing to rotate so you can move the blade up and down. So we're going to go over here to the other side, and this is why it's important to make sure you lower the blade before you do this so its weight is already resting on the ground and the whole thing isn't going to crash down and chop your fingers off when you remove this pin. So you get this self-locking guy out of here. There you go. And then you should be able to push or pull this pin out. You might want to get a mallet and bang on it or something because there is still some weight on that pin. So again, I might need to go put the phone down so I can do this with both hands. But I'm going to push this pin out through here, grab it from the other side, and make sure I don't lose the pin, which I just dropped right there because again, you're going to need this next year too. So here's an interesting design quirk. I don't know if this is particular to the X380 or if this happens on all of them. You go to pull this pin out and the front tire gets in the way. So I actually need to, at least on this model, go up here and turn the wheels to the right so I can then get this pin out all the way. And again, watch your fingers because that does fall. So again, take this pin and I'm just going to put it back through that hole so I have it where I need it for next year and I don't have to keep track of it separately or worry about losing it. The blade itself is now separated, so, and this is going to be heavy for me to move with one hand here, but you can now drag this out, set it aside for wherever you're going to store it. If you don't want to lose track of that little pain in the butt pin that was here, as I've already managed to do by leaving it on the floor in my garage, and you just want it in place for where you're going to need it next year, you can go ahead and slide that in there so you don't have to worry about losing it. So we've still got to remove this thing under here that is called the rear weldment. So if we go ahead and check the instructions, we're going to remove the 4 self-locking cotter pins securing the weldment to the lift arms, and then while supporting it from the bottom, remove the pins to mount the weldment on the right-hand lift arm, and then remove the weldment for the left-hand lift arm, blah, blah. So let's take a look what that means. Under here, we've got a bunch of self-locking cotter pins. On this side, I'm on the right side of the tractor now, they are holding these removable pins in place. Over on the other side, I believe the pins are just built into the weldment. So supporting it from below is a bit of a pain, maybe easier just to stack some blocks of wood. If I can zoom out under here so you don't have to worry about it falling on your fingers, and then that makes it a lot easier to get all of these pins out. So I'm going to go, it looks like, am I actually missing one? Oh, no. So you can see on the other side there, the pins are actually on the inside, not the outside. And it does look like I might actually be missing one of the pins here. I'm going to need to put the phone down and check that out in a minute. So here we go. I was not missing it. It was just completely covered in mud, so I couldn't see it from when I was trying to use this thing with a cultivator attachment, which is a topic for a different video. So again, 2 pins on here, on the right side here, one there, one there. I'm going to put the phone down to make it a little easier to take those out. Okay, now I got those in place, but you can see the weldment is still being held in place by these pins, which I'm not going to push out just yet. First, I'm going to go over to the left side. And here, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the phone in here to show you. The pins are on the inside, so again, harder to access. I'm going to need to put the phone down to go in there and finagle these out, but there's one there. And there should be one. Let's see if we can see it. I'm having a hard time getting it. There we go. Let's just see it. If I can get my hand in there to point. Another one up there. So again, be careful. You want to make sure this side is supported, because if you are reaching under to get up there and get those out, you don't want the whole thing to fall on your wrist if you're not careful. So I'm going to move my blocks of wood over here to support this side, just in case as I reach in there to take those pins out. Okay, now I got those 2 pins out. So this is where you want to be real careful. I'm going to go back to the other side. Again, looking at where we are in the directions while supporting the weldment from the bottom, because you don't want this thing to fall on you. Remove the pins used to mount the weldment onto the right-hand lift arm. So that is this pin here. I can push through, pull that out. And then this one up here, push through, pull that out, and this isn't going to fall on me because I got it supported by this block of wood here. And now I should be able to remove my block of wood on this side. I'm going to put the phone, well, I'll just watch it fall, make sure my hands are out of the way. It probably wasn't the best way to do that, but I wanted to be able to keep filming. Go over here. This block of the wood out of the way. If I can zoom out. Pull this towards me. Remember, I'm on the left side now. Actually, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this with just one hand. Or maybe you'll get to be lucky and see me drop this on myself, which I've been warning you not to do. Okay, yeah, this is going to take 2 hands. I'm going to have to put the phone down, but now that all the pins are removed, I should be able to just pull this out. Okay, there we go. That came off. And again, if you don't want to worry about losing track of these pins for next year, you just slide them back into place, and then they will be right where you need them for next time. So there you go. Got the whole thing uninstalled. Got all the parts in place, including having all the pins attached to make sure you got them for next year. I always forget exactly what these are called, but I think we got the draft pin, the lift arm, the rear weldment, and then the blade itself, and whatever this black thing is called. But again, make sure you keep all of those together so you got them ready for next year. And then next up, we are going to look at installing the mower deck. So if you have a comment or suggestion or think I did something stupid or wrong in this video, go ahead and leave a comment below this one. And remember, you can check out the other related videos in the video description.